We stand together. Freedom Palestine. Palestine, as we know, is an occupied state, occupied by the entity known as Israel, the perpetrators of genocide these days. As a reaction to their evil deeds, there are movements that want to change this bad stuff in this world. One of them is BDS. It is a Palestinian-led organization which stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions. A movement that fights for freedom, justice, and equality. So if you go to their website, they have a list of companies and products to boycott. They boycott companies that are complicit in the genocide of the Palestinians perpetrated by Israel. You can also check other lists, other websites or apps that have a list of their boycott, like Masjid Al Aqsa.com. This one is a website, another website. And also by an Android app called No Thanks. This one is an application for Android phones that can help us scan barcodes, and they let you know whether the product that are being scanned is getting called for boycott. Okay? But today we'll just mainly focus on BDS and their boycott list. So they've released this poster, "Act now against these companies profiting from the genocide of the Palestinian people." You see, most of these companies in this list are from the United States of America. Because as we know, they are probably the closest ally to Israel. Okay, there are some very well-known ones like Google, Disney, McDonald's, and many others. Okay, but not long before the recording of this video, they've also started to boycott Microsoft. But before we go ahead, I want to read you a passage from this web page, which is a guide to the BDS boycott. These two paragraphs in particular. So they have a list of companies that they boycott, but compared to Masjid Al Aqsa, BDS's list is relatively small. If you want to follow Masjid Al Aqsa's boycott list, they have bigger. They mention more companies to boycott, so it might be more challenging if you base your boycott upon this website. Okay, let's go back to the passage of BDS's principles of boycotting. We must strategically focus on a relatively smaller number of carefully selected companies and products for maximum impact. We need to target companies that play a clear and direct role in Israel's crimes against Palestinians, as well as in violating the rights of other people's communities, and where there is real potential for winning. This is how the BDS movement has successfully forced companies like G4S, Veolia, Orange, Puma, and Pillsbury, among others, to end their complicity in Israel's grave human rights violations and crimes. Compelling large complicit companies through strategic and context-sensitive boycott and divestment campaigns, as well as well-thought-out shareholder strategies to end their complicity in Israeli apartheid and war crimes against Palestinians, sends a compelling message to hundreds of other complicit companies that your time will come, so get out before it's too late. The fact that Israel's company has been in steady, at times, drastic decline also helps in showing that business with Israel is not only unethical and illegal, but also financially responsible. Israel is quickly turning into what the BDS movement calls a shutdown nation, with a dramatic flight of capital, severe brain drain, driving foreign direct investments in high-tech and generally unsafe, unstable, and collapsing economy. Ethics and international law aside, this should help us mobilize most shareholders to oppose any investment in Israel. So that's what BDS said about their boycott. So let's see Microsoft. Why do they boycott Microsoft? You can check it on their website. So if we go to Microsoft in their website, they list, they describe why Microsoft is worthy of getting boycotted. So they provide the Israeli military with Azure cloud and artificial intelligence services that are crucial to empowering and accelerating Israel's genocidal war on 2.3 million Palestinians in the illegally occupied Gaza Strip. If you want to check the source, just click the link. This one. Okay, you can read it. So, how do we boycott Microsoft? Let's see what they have. As a consumer boycott, boycott Microsoft products whenever possible. Their gaming products. So we know that gaming products are basically non-essential. But if you happen to be a Game Pass subscription, please cancel it immediately. And then we know that Microsoft has acquired so many studios, including Mojang and EA. So they have Minecraft and Call of Duty. Unfortunately, we cannot promote these games because Microsoft owns them, as well as the rest of Xbox platform. Then you know that they commonly supply their software, like the Microsoft operating system, like Windows 11, and then let's see, Office suite like Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint. I'm using PowerPoint, by the way, but I'm planning to move away from their products as soon as I get myself a Linux computer. They also have a browser, which is this Edge browser. Also search services like Microsoft Bing. You see, Microsoft Edge, Microsoft Bing, MSN, Teams, Skype, etc. We can switch to free and open software instead of another possibly composite company, which we'll see later. Okay, so you can see these are the products of Microsoft. They are complicit in the genocide of in the genocide perpetrated by Israel. We can replace Windows with. Please mind you that a lot of people they just have to work with Windows because of the future that Windows have, but for basic computing needs like maybe browsing or basic word editing, uh, we can always migrate to Linux. Let's see the search engines. As listed in the BDS boycott list, Google and Microsoft are in their boycott list. So my recommendation if you want to use a browser and a search engine is Brave. So Brave, they have the Brave browser, which is this one. It's available on Windows. And they also have a search engine. You can see this one, Brave, which is called Brave Search. Why do I think we also need to boycott these search engines? It's because they can really profit off of people that are using their search engine by having advertisers placing their commercial advertisements on their search engine, and then they pay a sum to the respective companies, mainly Google. Google has like almost a monopoly of the search engine market. Next, let's imagine yourself wanting to buy a new computer, be it a desktop or a laptop. If you want to buy a new computer, but at the same time you want to be as active in the pro-Palestinian movement as possible, try to get the computer with no OS. Assuming that you're trying to buy a new computer, try to get one with no operating system. You can ask the supplier, can you have do you have any computer with no OS that I can order? So if they have, we can go ahead to buy one, and we also need to make sure that they don't involve any component that are in the boycott lists, namely Intel and NVIDIA. Intel is popular for making CPUs, so you can check Intel here. Here. It's in the BDS boycott list. Okay. As for NVIDIA, they are popular for making graphics cards, but they're in another boycott list. So we want to play safe, then we pick AMD. Can choose an AMD Ryzen computer, and if you need a discrete graphics card, you can get an AMD Radeon RX graphics card. Yeah. And then let's see the options for the OS, the operating system that we can install on the computer. So, for the love of God, please avoid Windows 11. Microsoft owns Windows 11. So, if you have Windows 11, you see, Microsoft programmed this operating system so that we, as Windows user, use their products and services as much as possible. For example, if I want to search something off the web directly from this start menu, for example, let me try to search for search engine. It's hard-coded that by clicking through this click, the system operator opens Microsoft Edge, this one, and it uses Bing. As far as I know, we cannot change the search engine nor the Edge browser because it is hard-coded by Microsoft to be like that. Okay. So once again, for the love of God, try to avoid Windows the next time you want to try to buy a new computer. Try to buy either a computer that is pre-installed with Steam OS, which you can get with the Steam Deck, or try to get a computer with no OS and that has and install it with a Linux distributions. It can be there are a lot of distributions to choose for. Among those that I would recommend is Linux Mint or Boycott. Boycott might be suitable for a gaming computer, and Linux Mint, I like Linux Mint because I've read that this is a very lightweight computer and it's good for productivity. It comes with productivity programs like LibreOffice. Yeah, like this. If you get a computer with no OS, install it with Linux. And it's free. It's free. You don't have to pay anyone to install it. Just follow a tutorial of how to install and use them. Like this one is another example of buying a new computer. You see, I have an example of it's not a good option because we've seen that Hewlett Packard is one of the tech companies that are getting called for a boycott. This one, and then it has Windows 11 in it. But instead, we can, if you want to a new computer that already has a ready-to-use operating system, probably the one that we can purchase online is a Steam Deck. This Steam Deck is actually it's targeted for gamers, but you can also use it for productivity because it's still another Linux computer. You can hook it up to a monitor and pair it with some input devices like this keyboard and mouse. Okay, so as for the programs, I'd recommend you, instead of subscribing or purchasing an Office suite for Word, spreadsheet, PowerPoint, and OneNote, you can go into the search engine and search for LibreOffice. It's quite easy to install and use. They have Writer, which is an alternative for the word processor, Calc, alternative to spreadsheet, Impress as an alternative to PowerPoint, and as well as other programs. Okay, I think that's all I have to say today. Thank you for listening. I pray to Allah that more and more people become aware of this, and that we be more proactive in combating evil that many innocent people are suffering from. Thank you.